Hello, and welcome back to the Obsidian Mirror, where we take a pause, a moment to reflect. I invite you to take a few deep breaths with me to settle into the energy of this reading. I want to take a moment to thank you for spending this time with me today as we do a mirror reflection read so that we can explore our internal landscape and active patterns. Excuse me. Still finding my rhythm when it comes to presenting on YouTube, so I appreciate any and all patience that you extend my way. Now, from the Wild Unknown Tarot, I am going to get a card that represents the current state. I am picking up on some sort of unease. So I invite you to continue breathing intentionally. Maybe that is a certain style that you favor, a particular technique. Or just noticing how breath moves in your body. And for the current state, we have the Lovers upright. Now I'm going to get a card that represents an active pattern that you may be experiencing at this time, represented by an archetype card. Now may be a good time to drink a little bit of water. Relax your shoulders. Wiggle your toes or ears if you're able to do that. I haven't quite managed the skill myself. Admittedly, I haven't tried very hard or practiced very much. You may want to notice if your tongue is pressed to the roof of your mouth and if you want to relax it or not. Perhaps do some minor stretching of your neck. Roll your eyes around a little bit. or connect with your body in some other way. For the active pattern, we have, ooh, the Destroyer. I'm going to get a shadow card from the Shadow Seer deck. These cards are new to me and they are quite stiff so far. I'm grateful to have many reasons to break them in and work with them a little bit more. Perhaps now would be a good time to try and identify something about your day that you can be genuinely grateful for. Maybe that task feels a little tall at the moment, a little difficult, a little hard to do. And that's okay. Maybe there's something in the recent past that you can be grateful for and focus on right now. Perhaps there's something that you're looking forward to. And I genuinely hope that there is something that you get to look forward to. Now for the unseen or avoided. Seven of Cups, also known in this deck as addiction. Now I'm going to get one more from the tarot that represents possible integration point. It could be some guidance, some advice from the tarot. We'll see how it works out in practice. Let's see what the mirror reflection read has for us today. Now, I would like to mention that the spreads I do on this channel, I have created myself. And that's exciting for me. But it is also creating a slight sense of nervousness. So I hope that there is something here for you that is useful. Feel free to ignore the rest. Now, when it comes to the current state, we have what I think is a genuinely well-received card. Genuinely and generally. The Lovers in the upright position. Now, this could point to a focus on romance or connection of some kind. It could also speak to reciprocity, a sense of equal give and take in some aspect of your life. The image this card brings to mind is obviously of joy and contentment, of being aligned with another. The obvious imagery is birds of a feather flying together. This is by all means a lovely energy to be in. It makes me think also of an internal balance, a sense of being in the flow or in your groove, like things are going right for you right now. In the second position, we have the destroyer. This is the active pattern that you may be feeling, perceiving, or experiencing at the moment. Now, something that comes to mind in this spread at this point is a sense of a question that a lot of us have asked, or have at least heard of, which is, when is the other shoe going to drop? A sense of impending change for the less than desirable. Perhaps there is a sense of anxiety or worry when it comes to this positive feeling that you could have been experiencing lately. Like, is it too good to be true? Is it going to last? Perhaps this is pointing to a pattern of self-destruction, self-sabotage, relational sabotage. It could also point to a pattern of being involved in drama, of unnecessary strife, of imagined strife or artificial strife, things that could make us feel alive, but ultimately to what end? Now, if this is pointing to a pattern of being embroiled in drama, I wonder if the drama is necessary or advantageous at all, and why. If it is drama that you are witnessing, internalizing, being drawn into, belong in, things of that nature, is it yours? Or are you involved unnecessarily? And what effect may this be having on your life? In terms of the shadow card, we have the Seven of Cups upright, or addiction in the Shadow Seer Tarot. Now, when it comes to the unseen or avoided part of ourselves, there are several ways that addiction can manifest. This can be through substance, which may be the obvious. But there are other things that we can be addicted to, such as behavioral patterns, thought patterns, feelings that are known to us, whether they are desirable or not. We could be addicted to drama. We could feel a sense of identity tied to narrative. Now, one example that comes to mind is when things are going well. Sometimes that is an alien feeling. It could be perceived or experienced as boring, as no fun, as not exciting. And so the stability in the moment is overlooked for a familiar sense of excitement. And not all excitement is happy. Some excitement is actually quite tragic. Now, I'm not saying that what you're going through right now is tragedy. I surely hope not. But I think what this card is asking us to take a closer look at are the various types of addictions that we may be experiencing that may be affecting our lives more than is preferred. This could be addiction in control with food or exercise, or power dynamics in relationships. This could be an addiction to a sense of self that we have been carrying for a long time. Perhaps it's no good for us, and we know that. But we don't really know what we want to replace it with. So we carry on until we find something better. These are just examples. I invite you to consider all possibilities. Possibilities in experience and expression. For the integration card, we have the world. A sense of cyclical, a sense of cycles, of seasonality, also of movement. I think that it is worth keeping in mind that change is possible. Some decisions are out of our hands, but some decisions can only be made by ourselves. They are self-directed. I think that if you're watching this reading, you sense the possibility of change in some aspect of your life when it comes to self-destructive cycles. I think that is possible. It may feel out of reach, and that is valid. Sometimes the mountain is you. Sometimes the molehill is you. And the molehill is a very comfortable place to nest, to reside. It is familiar. It does not have to be your final resting place. And I do not mean that literally. I mean that metaphorically. Some things feel insurmountable when in fact they are not. They are perfectly surmountable. I think what this reading is reflecting back are a few things. something about self-destructive cycles. Perhaps these self-destructive cycles pull others into the self-destructive orbit. I think this reading also speaks to a level of potential for giving power away to others or to things outside of ourselves. I think it is possible to regain this sense of self-control or trust in self or self-discipline. I think this reading also wants us to look at the drama in our lives. If we are taking on the drama of other people's lives and how that may affect us, how we choose to support others. If the drama that we seek is through the media that we consume, and what effect that may have on our mental and emotional being. I wonder if this reading is speaking to a certain narrative that may or may not have been true at one point in time. Perhaps it was a story that was told and internalized. And maybe it doesn't need to be that way anymore, or at all. Maybe it never was. I think it's important to take a deeper look at relationship patterns, relationships with other people, and the myriad forms they take, romantic, familial, etc., and our relationship to the other facets of our world, the things that we consume, the things that we create. And I think it is important to explore the idea of breaking free of a particular cycle or narrative. I invite you now to take a deep breath with me. And take a better look at the cards and see if there's anything in the imagery that speaks to you. Keep track of what comes to mind when you look at the cards. Any associations, any memories, inspiration. I invite you to be gentle with yourself in this process. I invite you to take what is useful and ignore the rest, as you feel called to do in this moment. I think it is worth mentioning at this time that some addictions are learned. Perhaps a mode of relating, the use of a tool or a substance, a mental pattern that you may be looking at could be something that you picked up, something that is not inherent to you, something that is not naturally yours, something that you did not create. Most behavior is learned behavior, and we have the power and the ability to unlearn it. That may sound out of reach for some people. That is valid. I relate on a personal level. But I also believe that it is doable. If there is some sort of addiction that you are dealing with that you feel the desire to express and seek support with, I hope that you are able to find the resources that you need. Whatever that looks like for you. That could be meeting with people of a similar situation or background. That could be learning different coping mechanisms or coping tools, depending on how you want to word that. That could be reading other people's stories online of liberation from similar cycles, seeking inspiration, seeking connection, developing trust in self, that you can do this. I hope that you are able to find whatever it is that you need at this time. I invite you to ponder the idea that perhaps things won't always be this way. Change happens every day. The only constant in life is change. And if you want to change, I believe that you have the ability to change, or that you can develop the ability to change. At this point in the reading, I invite you to check in with your body again and notice any sensations, any needs that are being brought to your attention. Perhaps you feel more relaxed in some areas or more tense. Perhaps you need to go to the bathroom. Who knows? In any case, I appreciate the time that you have spent with me today. If you feel called to like, comment, or subscribe on this video or this channel, it is my hope that I will be able to connect with the collective energy in a way that is more useful to you. Regardless of how you choose to engage with this channel or not, I appreciate the time that you have spent with me today on the Obsidian Mirror.